brakes. Koenigsegg, yep, he's got the advantage, but unironically, the average ducks to the inside. What a move! But Koenigsegg accelerating back on the outside. And there goes Salty Bonkos to the inside. Bashing door panels, sparks flying, smoke spraying. The Butler is going to go wide. Salty Bonkos on the inside. They're a little bit off the pace, but now accelerating all 500 horsepower. Hello and a happy Tuesday afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are in the world. Of course, if it's morning, then it's Wednesday morning. But thanks very much for tuning in. Virtual Auto Sports here live on Twitch TV as we get ready for week number 2 of the Forza Spec Racing Series, season number 35 in the Volkswagen Scirocco. There you go. Yep. And last week, week number 1, things got they got changed up slightly. You're going to say, well, Dustin, there's still an AMS driver who's at the top of the pack. Yeah, AMS Storm, 1919 there with a total of 100 points after getting both wins in week number 1. And then a teammate, an Alien Motorsport teammate, finishing in second position for both races there, that being AMS Uticon, our Season 33 and Season 34 champion. So whether or not this is quote-unquote team orders for Storm to be in the lead, or at least for those 2 races, we'll see if that changes here in week number 2 for race 3 and 4. And likewise, will the likes of Cratrim or even Fear the Fun, Carryout, IPR Wolf, Mortismo, or anybody else who you see on this board of 24 make a run at that top spot, try to rip some of those points away and make it a close season all the way through to week number 5, where our grand finale there in race number 9 takes place. But let's not get too excited about the finale in this one. We've got a lot of racing here between this Tuesday and August 18th. That's when everything will culminate here for season 35. And in this VW Scirocco R, it has been an interesting season so far, and we're only 2 races in. Why, may you ask? Well, because as we saw, more so in race number 2 than race number 1, I think, is that this vehicle and its setup is going through these tires. They're burning through tires in these races, which gets them awfully close to having to pit, but you don't want to pit, because a pit through these first 8 events will be bad news for any one of these drivers. I'm Dustin Moore on the microphone here at Virtual Auto Sports as always, and hopefully you're having a good start to the week as we finish the final full week of July 2020. Heading into August, I hope you all have been able to stay cool. And of course, with stay-at-home orders, there's probably no better way to stay cool but inside in the air conditioning. But then also, hopefully, you're staying happy and healthy. And appreciate you joining us here this evening for a little bit of racing in the world of Forza Motorsport 7. What are the events that we have on tap for this week? Well, there are 2 exciting tracks. One that maybe I haven't been out to enough to fully appreciate. And then the other, well, it's pretty much a staple here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. I'm talking about Lime Rock Full, and then that staple track being Silverstone, the International Circuit, 34 and 26 respectively. And then you see that little crescent moon there in the blue next to race number 4. That indicates that we'll be racing under the night sky out there at Silverstone International. So we'll see if that plays any into the competition out there. I don't think it will. The driver is very familiar with the track at this point, very familiar with racing, whether the sun be up or the moon or nothing at all. And I think it just adds a little bit more of an element of intrigue for our race without really having an impact on the event itself. Week number 3 on August 4th. That'll be a week from tonight. Same time, same channel here on Virtual Autosports. We'll be heading out to Long Beach East for 33, followed by Suzuka West, which is our only race here of season 35 with a little bit of precipitation. So if you're curious to see what these tires will do, granted they'll be in wet tires, as that's what the game will default all of the drivers to. They're in race number 6. If you're still curious to see what is going to happen with the wet tires out at Suzuka West, 21 laps, then make sure you don't miss a minute of the action here a week from tonight. 2 weeks from today on August 11th, I will not be broadcasting this, but they will be out at Mugello full, followed by the test track full, and the test track always the outlier here in the Forza Spec Racing Series because they do run with simulation damage turned on, but because there are no pit stops, there are no stalls there out at the test track, they will only be running with simulated tire wear and fuel, no collision damage whatsoever, and then everything comes to a head there on August 18th, 3 weeks from today, out at Dubai City Reverse, and the drivers of the Forza Spec Racing Series, they're already helping me out by putting together a map with all the different corner names customized here for the league. If you're interested in participating in the Forza Spec Racing Series, it's very easy to do so. Head on over to reddit.com/r/FM4. Nightbot has you taken care of there with the link in the chat, and it looks like we're waiting for our frames to return. There come the frames. Welcome back. Welcome back. But now as we finish up looking at our schedule, or we've already talked in this, about the schedule, so we really don't have much more to say about that. Let's go ahead and talk about that vehicle one more time here. Not one more time, but at least once here this evening. Whoops, we need a vehicle in there. There we go. Our 2011 Volkswagen Scirocco A700 Performance Index here in the world of Forza Motorsport, 357 horsepower, 331 foot-pounds of torque, and the vehicle weighing in at 2,493 pounds, soaking wet. That's what our drivers have to work with. A few sport upgrades, a few race upgrades across the body from engine to handling and everything in between. And as I mentioned, it is that depletion or that loss of grip in the tires as the race goes on that's going to make things very, very intriguing, not only here tonight, but for the remainder of season 35. And I'll go ahead and flip back to our standings here as we wait for Slow Motion Fire to get things going here at the top of the hour with qualifying. And sure as you know it, we had a full lobby in week number 1. We've got ourselves a full lobby in here in week 2. Always great to see. So I appreciate the drivers who have signed up. And yes, some new names out there as well participating here in season 35 to include Arzian McQueen. I also see SVR Blackout. Who else? Who else is new to the series? They're not new to the Forza community, but new to the series. Jacob, who we saw racing there in week number 1. SVR Unku, also in week number 1. You can find these names there on the leaderboard, and I think that just about covers some of those new gamer tags here in season 35. And yes, at the very top of the hour, we will get qualifying going 3 laps out at Lime Rock Full. Lime Rock Full, which is, I think it's perfectly suited for a car like the VW Scirocco. And Chaos Fox coming in with a resubscription. Tier 1, 4 months. Thank you so much, Chaos Fox. And if you all are not watching Chaos Fox here on Twitch TV, make sure you give him a follow. Make it happen. He says, hey, or I. Chaos Fox does all kinds of different content, not just racing content, but I'm trying to think of the last thing I saw you playing, because you've been mixing it up as of late. But yeah, you can just click on SGR Chaos Fox's name there in the chat and give him a follow. Very good to have you here. You got a beta key for Fall Guys. Oh, there you go. So there you go. Maybe Chaos Fox is going to give that one away. I don't know. I'm not going to corner him into that position, but maybe what he's saying is that he's got Fallout Guys, so you can watch him play that game, which is actually kind of cool. It's like a Wipeout. It's like a take on Wipeout from the TV show, and mixed with what's that other game called where the weird kind of control, the kind of fluid motion type caricature, scrambling around the map, trying to do all kinds of funny little tasks and all that. I think they've taken that model and they've put it into a TV show style format where it's battle royale but without the weaponry. So for those of you who are like, man, I really love the formula of battle royale of like last man standing. Well, you've got the Eliminator here in Forza Horizon 4, and then now you've got Fall Guys. Oh my gosh, we've got Carry Out with the Tier 1 sub at 6 months. Muertismo coming in with the Twitch Prime subscription for 3 months. Thank you so much, Muertismo. Muertismo saying, whoop, whoop indeed. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I was not anticipating that here at the beginning of the broadcast, and we'll once we get the race underway, we'll actually flip the switch on your alerts so that you can get the full resubscription experience there with the lower third graphic and all that. Let me go ahead and get us on over to the lobby. That way you guys can take a look at who we have loaded up here today, because yes, we do have a full lobby as it stands right now, which is always pretty dang exciting. Got to hold on to 7th place. Sub for good vibes, says Mortismo. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we've had little to no issue whatsoever here on Virtual Autosports in keeping things fun, lighthearted, family-friendly, and just flat-out enjoyable. An enjoyable experience for all of you there in the Twitch chat. And here comes Chaos Fox. He's going to go ahead and trigger the lower third there for the bits, 150 bits. Thank you so much, Chaos Fox, with the Fox emoji or emote. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Level 1 complete. Oh, there we go. We've got the hype train going even. Let's go ahead and run those back here. Chaos Fox, as you hear that pit entry alarm with the subscription. Carry Out with the 6-month sub. Oh, and I don't know why it's not triggering. Let me try it again. There it is. Well, that's Mortismo's. We'll try to get carry-outs in here. It's repeating? No, I know. I just I wanted you all to have the fun of the lower third there to see. Let's try carry-outs. There it is. There it is. Now you guys are officially resubscribed. And for everybody else who's joined us here this evening, if you find that this broadcast brings you value to your Tuesday, by all means click that follow button. That's the very most I ask of you. That way it lets me know as the broadcaster that you did enjoy your time here, and we'll be in your follow channels section moving forward. That way you can more easily find Virtual Autosports here on Twitch TV in whatever directory we're broadcasting from. Is we are now underway here with the Benford Tools liveried car by Modern Weapon. I like that, a throwback to Tool Time. Huh? Modern Weapon will yes, lead the crew of I almost said 33. That would be exciting. 23 drivers here for 3 laps of qualifying. Blackout is going to be the second car out of the chute as they hit the no-name straight here on the back end of the Lime Rock full circuit. And SVR Blackout there with the Hollywood. Got a Hollywood livery, and I feel like I saw that one on Twitter. So always cool to see these things show up in advance of the event, with the drivers either teasing them, saying, hey, this is what my car is going to look like out on the track, or maybe they had a painter help them out and they want to give kudos to the painter who put their livery together. And you can see SVR Blackout there with the orange number board, that again signifying that first time participating here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, not the first time in any Forza Community Run event. So Blackout representing SVR, as SVR so commonly is. You know, you'll find an SVR driver in pretty much every single league, series, in any discipline. I feel like they've etched their corner into racing esports in just about every way possible. And we'll go ahead and throw those stats there in the lower left as drivers get ready to set their, not only their first qualifying time, but now getting ready for their second. RZM McQueen now with a 55.928. Blackout, though, on the flying lap there with a 53.889. Now, actually, check that. That's AMS Storm now coming across the line. And, yes, AMS Storm, who went back-to-back in week number 1, trying to make it a three-peat, maybe even 4 races in a row here in week number 2. Let's go ahead and drop. Well, I don't want to say drop back because really it's just a mix of cars out here on the track. But AMS Storm, who does have the quickest time. And just as I say that, RZM McQueen, they're from Rise Motorsport, coming through with a 53.871. And I think really the name of the game here for this event tonight is getting yourself a good qualifying time, because out here at Lime Rock with 23 drivers out on the track, if you find yourself mid-pack, mid to back of the pack, it's going to be difficult to rise up through the ranks, make those passes, and be in the top 5, top 3 as AMS Storm slides it out of the final turn there, that right-hander, and as such goes ahead and just spoils the rest of the lap there with a little bit of acrobatics across the line. Let's go to DOR Carryout, who currently is showing as having the 5th quickest time here in qualifying. Got AP1 Raccoon there with the ghosted car, the ghosted Scirocco. And you know we're in qualifying when that happens. Across the line goes Carryout. Not going to be able to trigger the top time, but probably up there quite a bit as, again, still showing 5th quickest on the track right now. Let's go ahead and move our marker or our camera back to 6th position here with Slipstream. And, yeah, kudos to the folks who subscribed and with the bit donations, and for everybody who earned themselves a nice little hype train emote. There you go. Care of Chaos Fox, Carryout, and Mortismo. And any second now, and there it is. We'll go back to the lobby. We'll take a look at those lap times. Slow motion fire will get everybody ordered. And drivers, if you'd like to have a word here in between qualifying and the 34-lap race that we're about to see unfold before us, hop into that queue for interview section there of the FM4 Discord. Be thrilled to have a word with you and what you're doing to prepare for this race after the qualifying session. Taking a look at those times. Blackout with that 53.982. Unku with a 55.264. 53.889 by Storm, who got that on his second flying lap after then botching the third one. And so that's as high up as Storm will get, although I think that's good for second. Modern Weapon at a 102.361. It's a clean 102. Cratrum with a 54.642, a 54.784 there for Born as Ghost. Slipstream with a 54. Slow Motion Fire with a 55. Carryout with a 54. AP1 Raccoon with a 56. McQueen at 53.871, so that might be good for row number 2. I think it is. Maybe sharing space with AMS Udakan there. And then Fear the Fun with a 54. Chaos Fox with a 54. Almost close to that 55-second mark. Beer 98G with a 101.428, also clean. Audrex with a 54. AMS Udakan there with that 53.797, 57.209 for Grem. Fox Jason D checking in at a 56.792. Martismo at a 54. IPR Wolf 55. 55 for Jacob. PXM Barney with a 55.889. And Kuda with a 56.289. Let's go ahead and bring into the lobby or the driver's spotlight now DOR Carryout. And DOR Carryout, I know some of our drivers were talking about after things concluded there in week number 1, and then also in preparation for week number 2. The tires are really going to be the wild card in this event. That's what's going to it may factor in to some folks getting off track and losing position.
Yeah, the first lap's going to be a little bit tricky on cold tires with this front-wheel drive car. It's going to be interesting.
And have you made any accommodations or maybe adjustments to your own driving style to prepare for that, or are you pretty confident in the way that you were able to get the VW around in week number 1?
I hope I start close to the inside so I can just stay towards the inside lane going through that first corner, so get through it.
Yeah, turn number one, despite these drivers being all pretty familiar with each other and having that same mentality of, hey, let's take it clean into corner one, you could just never be too cautious and hopeful to be able to get out of that one unscathed. You sit currently 5th on the leaderboard behind Fear the Fun. I have to imagine you're looking to climb up one spot, take some points from Fear here in week number 2, and see yourself into P4 on the leaderboard.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pass Fear on first lap.
gonna make it happen on lap number 1, and then the other 33 will be smooth sailing. Not only will the tire situation factor into this race without question, but I think because of the shortness of the track, the 1.5 mile setup here at Lime Rock Full, you're gonna have back markers to deal with. So what if maybe some of the conversations or discussions that have happened maybe during qualifying or practice to say, hey guys, let's just everybody be careful out here all throughout 34 laps?
Yeah, well, we've been talking about it for about a week now, and everybody should be good. We should be good with back markers and everybody running the line and getting used to everything, so we should be good.
Awesome. And coming out of qualifying, you pretty happy with your time?
I could have done a little bit better, not too much, but I would have liked to have been 4th instead of 5th.
Alrighty. Well, 4th instead of 5th. That'll be good for row number 3 here for DOR Carryout. We're talking to in the driver's spotlight. Carryout, great work with the qualifying. We'll see how you do out there on the track.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And as always, it's so much fun to be able to chat with our drivers who come into the driver's spotlight. And sorry, I left the game audio rolling as we were talking with Carryout there. Hopefully you were able to hear him. But yeah, I mean, it's great to talk to the drivers, get a feel for how they're approaching the event, and maybe get a feel for how Twitch is going to allow me to have my frames here for the broadcast. And I say Twitch, it could very well be on my end. We'll see. Hopefully it comes back to us. Food Tank saying, sad boy, I practiced a little on these tracks, so he was hoping for a better turnout than what he had. But as we are very familiar with, if you've been watching maybe the last 2 or 3 seasons here of the Forza Spec Racing Series on Virtual Autosport, you know that Foon saying, hard charger. He's going to find his way up through the ranks no matter how far back he ends up out of qualifying. So that'll be a name to look for here as we get around. Yes, 34 laps, 1.5 mile Lime Rock Full circuit coming off that Sam Posey straight into turn number 1, the big sweeping right-hander horseshoe style. Then you hook left, make your charge to the no-name straight, then it's onto the no-name straight, and then it's onto the back straightaway, if you'll call it that, before you hook a right and then head back toward the start-finish line downhill. So some undulation here. And yes, it is a front-wheel drive Scirocco that we're dealing with here in season number 35. They have not made any adjustments whatsoever to the drivetrain configuration. Instead, they've added a little bit of horsepower, not a whole heck of a lot, 357 horsepower, 331 foot-pounds of torque, 2,493 pounds of curb weight. 57% of that weight sits at the front of the vehicle, helping to keep those front tires planted, but at the same time, degrading them quickly. Very, very quickly. All right, Slow Motion Fire giving us the heads up that we're getting ready to go. We'll go ahead and put the camera here on RZM McQueen, who's on row number 1, sharing space with AMS Unicon, who actually picks up the top time. I completely misread that from our post-race results. AMS Storm there in 3rd position. On row number 2, SVR Blackout, then Carry Out on row 3 in 5th position, who we just talked to. CMB Slipstream in 6th, then it's Craytrim and Born as Ghost, Audrex and Fear the Fun, where Tismo, Chaos Fox, Uku, Jacob, Slow Motion Fire, Wolf, Barney, Raccoon, Kuda, Jason, Grim, Beer, Modern Weapon. At the line, and AMS Unicon will be the one to signal the start of this race. As soon as he budges a little bit off the line there, all of our drivers are free to get on the accelerator and begin to initiate passing maneuvers. As here we go, The digital fans are up on their feet. Kick the tires, light the fires. Week number 2 of the Forza Spec Racing Series is underway as they come down the San Posey Straight into turn number 1. McQueen's going to be there in second position, right where he qualified. AMS Storm in third, Blackout in fourth, Slipstream in fifth, Carryout dropping back one position to sixth. Craytrim, Oddrex, Fear the Fun, Born as Ghost are your top 10 as they come out of the right-hander down the no-name straight. Yes, that is the name of the no-name straight. A little bit of a kink to it here before you hit the right-hander. No chicane here on this particular configuration, giving drivers a little bit of room there off the side, outside that white line, to get a little bit more of a run up the hill. Now back into the right-hander. Be careful here. You don't want to run out too far this way through because there's nothing but grass out there to greet you. And same here in that final right-hander as you charge back toward the start-finish line for the beginning of lap number 2. And it's going to be AMS Uticon, followed by McQueen, Storm, Blackout. Let's go back to 6th position with DOR Carryout. Into turn number 1, Craytrim right behind him. Car looks clean, no scratches, no bumps, so all the drivers minding their P's and Q's out here on the track. Let's go ahead and ride on board here with DOR Carryout. See the field up ahead and know that in the rearview mirror, Carryout's probably watching. Craytrim looking to move up. Craytrim, who's third overall on the leaderboard coming into week number 2. Fear the Fun up into position at P8. Chaos Fox in 9th. Born as Ghost still back there in 10th position. Unku is in 11th. Mortismo in 12th. Jacob and Slow Motion Fire are 13th and 14th, coming down the hill now here with Carryout. And you see the drivers in front of them kicking up a little bit of dirt, and it looks like that's going to be 3rd position of AMS Storm, getting a couple of tires out there in the grass, able to bring the vehicle back out onto the asphalt and continue on. Let's go to 2nd position, where it looks like AMS Uticon has fallen back one spot there to RZM McQueen. And just like that, here on lap number 3, we have ourselves a new race leader. How long will it last as AMS Uticon getting 2 second-place finishes there in week number 1, trying to change that up here in week 2 after winning out the championships and many of the races in season 33 and 34. McQueen and Uticon both off the track. McQueen has got a nice little car in tow. You would be easily mistaken that there's not a trailer hitch there, as close as Uticon is. Now coming down the hill, he's not going to let up, although it does look like there's maybe about a half a car length in between the two of them coming across the line. Lap number 4 of 34. Now underway, heading back into turn number 1. McQueen's going to run that wide. Here comes AMS Uticon looking to the inside. He's going to stick that left front tire out there. It's not going to be able to make it stick here as they line it up, but here comes a little bit of a switchback. McQueen has it locked down. Not going to give him any room to get by, and he's going to make him work for it. But here comes Uticon, does another switchback here on a no-name straight. They're going to go side by side, wheel to wheel, rocker panel to rocker panel, and now here's where it's going to get a little bit iffy up the hill. AMS Uticon doing a great job giving McQueen the space that he needs to get up the hill quickly, and just like that, makes the pass. Shrek420 there in the chat, or the pit lane as we call it, saying, come on, Uticon, you got this. And sure enough, he's back up there into the top spot, at least for now, for the beginning of lap number 5, as we go back to about a half lap ago there with that pass heading up the hill. Well done. A lot of respect there between the two drivers, giving themselves the space needed to go up the hill and make that pass with Uticon without any incident and keeping them both in the race. AMS Storm watches on from the back there, looking to make any sort of maneuver should there be a mistake made by our top 2 drivers. Back behind AMS Storm in 4th, that's going to be Blackout. You got to look quite a ways back to find Carryout in 5th, Craytrim in 6th, Slipstream in 7th, Fear the Fun in 8th, Chaos Fox in 9th, and sure enough, Born as Ghost still there in 10th position. Over the rumble strip, a couple of tires off into the dirt, kick up some gravel. Now back out on the track, number 99 there, AMS Uticon, with the green number board. No, he's no stranger here to the Forza Spec Racing Series, and he's got 2 championships under his belt, looking to go 3 in a row, and that would be a first here in the Forza Spec Racing Series if he can pull it off. But his teammate, AMS Storm, is already making a case for the reasons why he shouldn't go back to back to back. And that clown mask there with AMS Uticon, he's told us that he's going to change it. He hasn't done it yet. Just almost seemingly taunting the other drivers there with that mask. Of course, taunting in the sense that they know it exists, because not oftentimes does he find himself in any one driver's rearview mirror. Back up the hill they'll go into that right-hander. As you can see, a lot of speed throughout this track. Really, your sharpest cornering is going to be into turn 2 and 3. And even that isn't the slowest that you'll find at any one circuit. So, got a quick pace going here on the 1.5-mile Lime Rock Full. Now into the right-hander once again. Here comes McQueen looking to the inside. Udakan able to bring his Scirocco back down toward the apex. Block McQueen. Very sportsmanlike fashion. Overcast skies, and a little bit of contact there on the back bumper. AMS Udakan, he's feeling the pressure there with McQueen, who's not letting up. Sanchawo with the 5-bit saying, Scirocco go brr. Thank you so much. Sancho Wo, or maybe it is Sanchawo. Sancho Wo. I don't know. Lap number 8. And we've got drivers kind of scattered all about now here, as it's going to get to a point where we're seeing our lead lap cars coming up on the back markers, but at least for now, they've got clear air out in front of them. But it will get interesting as we go along, because let's go ahead and take note of the tire situation right now. They're in the right-hand side, 23% tire wear already up front, and just look at that. As they're getting around the track and through the corners, you see it ticking up 1 to 2% in just a second's time. So, yeah, they're burning through the race tires here on the front-wheel drive Scirocco. Again, 57% of the 2,493 pounds, 57% of that is out there in front of the two tires. Now here comes McQueen on the same route there that AMS Udakan was taking a couple of laps back when AMS Udakan was in second. Not able to make the move there. And Sancho says 5 bits, another 5 bits. You tried, brother, and that's all that matters. I know. I am horrible here with the Twitch tags, but I do appreciate it. 10 bets into the bank. And over into the dirt once again, and you see Grimm back there, 23rd position. All 23 drivers still out on the track. Storm is in 3rd, Blackout in 4th, Carry Out in 5th, Craterum in 6th. Then it's Slipstream, Fear the Fun, Chaos Fox, and Born as Ghost. Here comes McQueen to the inside. They don't care if it's early on in the race. Trying to get positions whenever they're up for the taking, and a little bit of tire smoke. It looked like out of AMS Udakan's one of the front tires, and that lack of momentum with that tire spin gives McQueen the leverage he needs to close in, and thought better of it there. Didn't want to have any incident. A very early point in this race is now they've got Grimm right out in front of them. Grimm says, hey, you guys take the inside line. I'm going to stay out here to the outside. They're going to go 3 wide across the start-finish line, and here we go. AMS Udakan on the inside. McQueen sandwiched in between he and Grimm. Grimm now goes ahead and displaces himself from the track. Out into the kitty litter he goes. And so our top 2 will press on here. Another back marker. That's going to be 22nd position of Beer up ahead, and that little bit of traffic there was all AMS Storm needed to close in a little bit. And once again up the hill, AMS Udakan full throttle, spinning at least one of the 2 front tires. Beer 98 running Udakan way out there to the fringe of the track before Udakan and McQueen go ahead and make quick work of him. And now Storm and Carryout are going to have to find their way by some of the back markers, to include Blackout there in 4th position. Let's go ahead and ride on board here with McQueen and see just how close it is between these two drivers. Sprazal saying, ran 3 practice races here this week, going over the top of the hill in 4th gear, smokes the tires and wears them out quickly. Downshifting and going up the hill in 3rd saves them from smoking, but generates a slower lap time for the shifting. Could be a strategy later on in the race to save the tires, though. Thinking of McQueen here, who's not roasting those front tires. It is Amos Udakan who we're seeing with the puffs of smoke there coming up the hill. And so, yeah, most certainly could be a bit of a strategy play here, as we see McQueen's tires at 36 on the left-hand side, 33 on the right-hand side, the passenger side here of the Scirocco R. And thank you so much, Sancho, for another set of bets, 20 there. Across the line, lap 14. Sancho saying, shout out to Chaos Fox. He really has to skid the Honda Accord. I don't know if that's a reference to something. I'm in the dark on that one. That goes completely over my head, but I'm sure there's a rhyme there. Yeah, inside joke. Okay. Thanks for assuring me there, because otherwise I'd been like, man, what am I missing here? Up the hill they go. AMS Udakan again having himself a barbecue out here at Lime Rock. Back down the hill. Bit of a glorified oval this here at Lime Rock. As you've just got a little twisty bits in between, but yeah, a lot of high-speed corners mixed with a few straights, and you find yourself completing a lap under a minute's time, 1.5 miles. Track Saban, welcome back. Good to see you again. And now, MS Udakan able to put about a car and a half, maybe 2 Scirocco lengths in between he and 2nd position. And there go the tires. If only we had the smell-o-vision there. AMS Storm in 3rd with Blackout in 4th. Carryout all by himself there in 5th position. And it's Slipstream, Fear the Fawn, Cratrim, Chaos Fox, and Born as Ghost. No movement there from 6th on back to 10th position. Then you see Audrex in 11th. Got that blue dot there as I have him highlighted right now. All by himself. Then it's IPR Wolf, which is pretty much in the same, I'm not going to say predicament, but same situation. Jacob in 13th, Unku in 14th, Muertismo in 15th. Then it's Kuda, Raccoon, Barney, Slow Motion Fire, Fox Jason D, 16th through 20th. Then you got Modern Weapon, Beer, and Grim, 21, 22, 23, respectively. 23 drivers. Back-to-back weeks of a full lobby. I love it. Lime Rock is a defective Spaghettio. There you go. I like that analogy. I haven't had Spaghettios in so long, but I can see it now. I can visualize it. I can't unsee it at this point. I will forever think of Lime Rock as the defective Spaghettio. Track saying start over again. I love this track. I want to see it from the beginning, and we've got one of the back markers off the track there, allowing our lead lap cars to go by. And that little adjustment there that AMS Udakan had to make, not entirely sure where traffic was going to go. I think that allowed McQueen to go ahead and squeeze back in onto the back bumper. Now here they go up the hill, and let's see how Udacon's going to handle this. As long as he can block McQueen, he should be okay. And then try to make the move here on the front straightaway. He gets around one. That's going to be Modern Weapon. Modern Weapon staying onto the outside. Nicely done. And that's the kind of respect that you have from driver to driver out here on the track. No one driver is going to let any of these guys, or not going to purposefully ruin the race of any one of these other folks out on the track. And whether they're fast or slow, you know, everybody finding a way to navigate each other, which is no easy feat here at Lime Rock. You've got limited track space, and one little mistake will send you careening off track for quite a ways too. The guardrails, apart from this no-name straight right here, and then just a little bit down the front, the back straightaway. Apart from those two sections, the guardrails are out quite a ways, and you'll be spending and spinning those front tires to get back out on track, as McQueen is going to run it wide, trying to find every 1/10 of a second here to close back in on Udacon. They go across the line for the beginning of lap number 19. Track saying, I just stopped streaming, so I thought I would drop in to say hello, as I love the way you commentate these races. Well, I appreciate that there, Track, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. When you realize you're not good at racing, you just talk about racing, and that's me. Those who can't teach Jim, right? I think that's a quote from a movie. Sprazow's coming in with the subscription there, tier 1. Thank you, Sprazow's. Man, you guys are bringing on my red face here. You can't see it. You can't see it, but definitely feeling the love here, as McQueen has got some work to do now. Let's see if we don't have ourselves a bit of a closer battle here. The next one would be 3rd and 4th of AMS Storm and Blackout. Let's go there to the SVR driver, Solar Vision Racing, headed up by SVR Solar. Back down the hill they'll go, and you see Graham just kind of parked off the side of the track there. I don't know if that's a permanent decision or if he's just looking for a gap in the action to get back out onto the circuit. It's definitely not a requirement for anybody who races here in the Forza Spec Racing Series to put yourself off track and wait for everybody else to go by. They've got a great assortment, a diverse assortment of skill level represented out on the track. And as long as you race clean, understand your limits, and understand when you've got race leaders coming into your area, your territory, your space, just to be careful. You don't have to completely end your race. You just need to make sure that you're allowing the race to proceed without incident. As the across the line goes Storm and Blackout, and we see Graham now into pit lane, or coming out of pit lane. Perhaps when we saw him into the wall there on that final right-hander, incurred some damage. Let's go back up to McQueen here in second position and take a look at the tire situation. 61% on that left front tire, 56 on the front right. And then if we bounce that against what AMS Storm here has, I would have ventured to guess that Udacon would have more tire wear, but actually that's not really the case. 62% there on that front left, 59 on the front right. Let's go to Fear the Fun. who is probably not running as quickly as he would have liked. Right now in 7th, came into week number 2, 4th overall in points, with DOR Carryout back behind him and by a good amount of points too. Carryout had a disappointing, I think it was race number 1. Nope, I take it back. Carryout finished 4th in week number 1, race number 1, and then in 11th position there in race number 2. So Fear the Fun trying to continue to increase the delta between he and Carryout, therefore securing a top 5 position for the remainder of the season, so long as he can keep it up. And then maybe even try to jump a spot or 2 higher. Although he told us, man, you kidding me with the talent that they have out here? What's left in front of him on the leaderboard? That's not going to be possible. And I think Fear the Fun underselling his ability, as he does now move up to 6th position with a move there on CMD Slipstream. Our race leader, it is AMS Udakan, followed by McQueen, then Storm, who won both the races in week number 1 in 3rd, followed by Blackout, and then Carryout, as we see out in front of, we don't see Carryout, but he is out in front of Fear the Fun that we're now spectating. He's got Fox Jason D in 20th position out in front of him, and still Slipstream tagging along. And not too far back there, as you see zooming down the hill, that's Craytrim in 8th position. And it looks like Grimm has either backed out of the race or has disconnected. Let's go back to McQueen in 2nd position. And we'll go ahead to our Virtual Autosports rewind there to see that move that Fear the Fun was able to make. And actually, it looks like the replay just missed the point at which he made that pass. So we'll go ahead and switch back. These Scirocco's are a pain to get to handle good, says Savon. Yeah, and really, some of our drivers, as they go 3 wide across the line once again here, a mix of lead lap cars, and oh no, McQueen, he's going to get tangled up there with Jacob in 14th position as he tries to get around because he sees fading off into the background AMS Udakan. Now here comes McQueen to the inside. That sends Jacob running wide. Whew. Rush hour here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. The front is heavy, yeah. I'm reminded by a meme that came out of Gran Turismo 5 where Jeff Gordon, a digital version of Jeff Gordon, says the car is heavy. Well, in the case of the Scirocco here, the front of it is heavy. And those race tires, while they do pretty good early on in the event, the driver's now starting to feel the depletion in grip. 74 closing in on 75 there for McQueen. 68 on the other side, on the right-hand side. Sancho with another 5 bits. That takes you up to what, 25 here today? No, 35. Thank you. And now here in the remaining 7 laps, McQueen make that 6.5. McQueen trying to close the gap again. They've got another lap or 2 before they'll see more back markers. Storm in 3rd, Blackout in 4th, Carryout in 5th. Fear the Fun is approaching Carryout. So I'll keep my eye on Fear's blip there to see if he can't make a run at it here in what's left of the race. McQueen in the Zenith Express livery here on the Scirocco. It's a sexy Golf, says Track Sabot. Yeah, I like the look of the Scirocco. I was about to say the hatch of a Scirocco. Of course, the Golf and the Scirocco are both hatchbacks, but ever since we had this VW appear, what was it, back in the Forza Motorsport 4 or Motorsport 5 year or title, I've had quite an affinity for these cars. They look like race cars once you put the VW racing kit around them, which is actually pretty unique here in the world of Forza Motorsport 7, that these, but the front spoiler and the rear spoiler are adjustable. Typically, your Forza Aero is going to be the only thing adjustable. Not the case here with the Scirocco. Is McQueen now dealing with IPR Wolf, who's running in a very respectable 13th position of 23 drivers, so that just shows you how quick our top 2, make that even top 3, top 5, are getting around the track. Track saying, I would love a Monaro or a Hellcat. Wouldn't we all? I wouldn't mind somebody just dropping that in my garage and saying, hey, here you go. As long as I don't have to pay insurance on that thing. I can only imagine. I can only imagine what they charge for insurance on a Hellcat. Or a Demon. It's a vehicle payment in and of itself. Let's go to 8th position with Cratrim back behind Slipstream. And now they're going to go side by side here into turn number 1. Cratrim had a nose out in front, but with that outside line here through the left-hander, that puts him back onto the rear side of Slipstream's Scirocco. And now here onto the no-name straight they'll go on lap, I think this is 29 for them. 30, well, make that, maybe it's lap 30 for them, lap 31 now for our race leaders as they cross the line in the remaining laps here. Sancho saying we don't get those here in the land down under, but we get similar spec Falcons and Commodores. Or at least you did, right? until Holden announced that they're going to, well, I should say GM announced that Holden is going to go belly up here at the end of 2020. Still in business right now, but that their demise is imminent. And again, we talked about this when it was announced earlier in the year. You hate to see that, especially from a brand that has been around for so long. I think the Holden badge dates back to the 30s. So very early on in the era of automobiles. And unfortunately is things have transpired around the globe and not necessarily pinned on the pandemic, because I think the announcement came even before that. GM shuttering yet another iconic brand in its portfolio, as we see AMS Unicon now with McQueen still back behind him there in 2nd position. I don't know if McQueen is saving up to make a run here in the final 2 laps now as they cross the line, but if he is, he's going to have to make a move sooner rather than later, especially with the lap traffic here. RZ and McQueen not running there in week number 1. So this is McQueen showing up for the first time here in season 35 and for the first time in the Forza Spec Racing Series. And Sancho saying, yeah, Holden has been going under for a while. Yeah, I mean, they've probably struggled for a while. GM trying to keep them afloat, but now we've got a prolonged black screen here, usually indicating that we've lost somebody out on the track. We started out with 23. What are we down to? 21? Yes, AP1 Raccoon now DNF'd as our race leaders go back down the hill here. White flag flies, this time across the line. 1 to go. AMS Unicon trying to secure the first win here in week number 2 of season 35 after falling behind AMS Storm twice. They're in week 1. McQueen going to go side by side there with Unku, who, you know, Unku is a quick driver, but just not able to keep pace here with our quickest drivers. And now they go down the no-name straight for the last time. McQueen off the track, and there goes AMS Storm, seemingly out of nowhere. And now AMS Storm here on the final lap is going to challenge his teammate. AMS Unicom will go ahead and quickly flip the camera over there. AMS Storm now here on lap number 34 of 34. Jumps into the top spot. Into the right-hander he goes. And just like that, the Umbrella Corporation liveried AMS Storm Scirocco is going to cross the line in half a lap. He was leading this race, and that's all it took to claim the win here in race number 3, giving Unicon yet his third straight second place finish here in season number 35. Where the heck did AMS Storm come from? As we go back to our Virtual Autosport rewind, we see AMS Storm there in third, back behind one of the back markers. It looks like Modern Weapon. And then somehow bottles it all up for a run at not only second position, but then first. Joe Beardy saying Storm for the W. What a last lap that was. I agree. My oversight in not recognizing that Storm had closed the gap on second position so darn quickly, and then made a double pass there in the final 3 corners of Lime Rock Full. So it's going to be AMS Storm, followed by AMS Unicon. Then in third position, that'll be McQueen and Blackout. So 2 AMS drivers, then 2 SVR drivers. Or excuse me, my apologies. RZM McQueen. Then SVR Blackout. In 5th position, it'll be Carry Out, then Slipstream. Followed by Cratrim and Fear the Fun in 7th. Or at least, actually, no, make that 8th position for Fear the Fun. In 9th is Born as Ghost. 10th is Odd Drex. So Born able to jump up 1 spot here before the race was over. Chaos Fox not able to break into the top 10. Followed by Unku, the other SVR driver out on the track. IPR Wolf, Mortismo in 14th. Then Jacob, Slow Motion Fire. 17th goes to Barney, followed by Fox Jason. Kuda, Modern. Beer, the caboose here on the 21 drivers who finished the race. And then that leaves Grim and AP1 Raccoon with a DNF. They'll pick up 3 points for at least trying. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and take ourselves a little bit of an ad commercial break here. You're not going to miss any action, I promise you. Slow Motion Fire is going to do what he needs to do to close things up here on race number 3 before we get ready for qualifying and race number 4 out at Silverstone International under the lights. I'm Dustin Moore. You're watching Virtual Autosports and the Forza Spec Racing Series, season number 35, week 2, here on Twitch TV. If you're not receiving any ads right now and you can hear the sound of my voice, thanks for hanging out while we do all the logistics behind the scenes here between race number 1 of the evening and then our second race out at Silverstone. For those of you who are not getting ads because you're a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. Everything that I receive by way of the bit donations and the subs goes directly back into the production and the fun of the channel, because really I don't need to pocket any of that. That goes back to making sure that you guys have a great viewership experience, but then also whenever we have that opportunity to give away some prizes, some cool prizes, that's where the money gets spent as well. So greatly appreciate that, and we'll welcome in our larger audience here in the next 10 seconds. And welcome back to Virtual Autosports here live on Twitch TV. Race number 3 of Season 35 is in the books, and with that, we will go ahead and introduce IPR Wolf into the driver's spotlight. IPR Wolf finishing 13th position out in front of Mortismo. Just couldn't get around Unku there for another spot, 12th position. But are you pretty satisfied with your finish here in the first race of the evening?
With all things considered, I'd say I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, today was a bit of a frantic rush to get into the thing. But for the most part, I did about as good as I probably could have in this sort of a situation.
Yeah, and what a hectic race. You couldn't let your guard down at any point because there was just so much going on out there. Even the lead lap traffic, as good as you were driving in 13th position, you had those lead lap cars coming up into your neck of the woods. So, man, you had to be on pins and needles, on your toes the entire time to make sure that you were doing what's right by all the drivers out on the track.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting trying to navigate.
Yeah,
with lap traffic and all that.
Some of the folks watching our broadcast here were giving us maybe some of their thoughts on strategy with those front tires, saying that, hey, when you're heading uphill, accelerating in either fourth gear or third gear will be the difference in terms of how much grip you're left with toward the end of the race. Was there anything in particular out there at Lime Rock that you did to preserve tires? And then taking that into Silverstone, which is a largely flat track, do you change that approach, or does it largely stay the same?
I'm going to be honest with you all. I just kind of went at it blind.
Yeah.
So, except for maybe sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, if it was me, I'd be doing the same. I'd be like, the heck with the tires. I'm just going to try to do as good as I can. And if that means I have nothing left at the end of the race, then so be it. Talking with IPR Wolf here in the driver's spotlight, getting ready for our second event here of the evening out at Silverstone. That being said, switching over to the track, is this one going to fare better for you, or at least you think it will? And then, of course, we'll see how you do during qualifying. I mean, you entered week number 2 in 5th overall on the leaderboard. That first race could knock you back a little bit, so trying to make up the difference here in the second race?
I'm fingers crossed. This track will suit my car a bit better, but I don't know, to be honest. I haven't really had a I really haven't had a chance. Once again, to be honest, was a bit distracted with other things, so I legit just got in as qualifying was almost as qualifying was starting for race 3. So
last minute entry, I like it. Chaos Fox pointing out in the chat, IPR, the tag that you have on your name, not a team anymore, but says, hey, you need a good team to go to because you're good talent. Are you on the market, or are you just kind of flying solo right now?
I'm open. I'm open, though. To be honest, I'll just leave it open.
There you go. And as soon as I get some frames back, we're having the whole frame issue here tonight. There they are. There's the frames. essentially, if you guys did not hear that at home, IPR Wolf saying, yeah, I'm on the market. If there's any team who wants me, you know where to find them. IPR Wolf. I want to say well done, because still a great race there at Lime Rock, and we'll see if you can't improve that a little bit here in the second race of the evening.
Thank you.
All right, and then I see one other driver there in the driver's spotlight before we get ready for qualifying here at Silverstone, SGR Chaos Fox. Chaos Fox, you finished in 11th position behind Audrex. You were kind of just flirting there with the top 10 for quite a while, not able to break into it. Audrex taking that 10th spot from you.
Yeah, I was holding my own. I had a little mishap. Somebody was off the course, and I just nicked their car, and I had suspension damage. It wasn't enough to really slow me down terribly. Bourne was able to get by me, but I was able to hold on to 11th, so I'm happy about that. But other than that, I was very pleased with how that race went compared to round one. Oh my God. Round one was a utter nightmare.
Sancho is in our Twitch chat, and he's been throwing some inside jokes out there. I don't know if you want to tell us real quick.
Yeah.
He said, "Skid the Accord, you coward." You want to give us the quick little scoop on that one?
Yes, he is a friend of mine. I've known him for quite a few years now. He likes to do slidey things, and he's always telling me to skid my Accord, and I refuse to, because I'm not going to give in to peer pressure.
I'm guessing the Accord may be a daily driver. Your real world car.
Yeah,
Yep.
I have a boring daily drive. I have a 15 Accord Sport, nothing worth skidding, but he completely disagrees. But
Well, I'm. It's more of a sporty car than I have in my garage, so I'll give you that. But Chaos Fox finishing again in 11th position out there at Lime Rock Full, hoping to turn that around here at Silverstone. Just quickly, I know we've talked about the issues with the tire degradation. Do the curbs of Silverstone make that even more of a problem, or do we maybe see tires being less of an issue because of the kind of the I guess the flatness of the course? I mean, there's no hill to accelerate and lose grip or anything like that. I don't know. What do the tires look like here for this second race of the evening?
I see the tires lasting a little bit longer here. There's a bit more technical turns where you got to slow down more, less high-speed turns. You're probably not going to see the intense kind of finish like there was at Lime Rock, but it's still going to be a close race. These cars do really good here. I got the tune really good on my car. Feels great around here. It also helps that I've been doing 3-4 events at this track, so it's just burned into my memory at this point. So this is going to be an exciting race.
Very good. I like the teaser. We'll get through the qualifying first, but Chaos Fox already telling us that this is going to be a fun one. Trying to turn the luck around here after a disappointing start to season 35. Chaos Fox, best of luck during qualifying.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and with that, I know Slow Motion Fire is itching to hit the let's go qualifying, let's go racing button, so we'll go ahead and get all of our drivers back into the Discord, because one of the things that they want you to do here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, if you are considering being a participant, a competitor here in this league, is that you are logged into their Discord server and in their race chat. And there's no season where that's been more helpful, even though it's very early on in season 35, than it is than with season 35, because of all the traffic that is out there on the track. It's not until we get to some of those longer circuits that we might see less of the lap traffic back marker situation with our lead lap cars. Silverstone International, one of those slightly longer tracks, 2.25 miles, 2.25. And any moment now, we'll get the go-ahead here from Slow, and it looks like we are back to a full lobby after Mortismo was dropped out. Track saying, I live 2 hours from this track here, Silverstone. There you go. I like it. I like when our folks here in the chat kind of give us a little bit of an idea of where they're watching from. And for all the folks who are watching the broadcast here live across the pond, late into the late night Tuesday hours, early Wednesday morning. Thank you so much for that dedication. As we now have the countdown, lobby is loading up, and we'll get to racing here. And again, it is in the dark. We'll see what skybox we get out here at Silverstone International. 3 laps of qualifying. I'm 40 minutes from Brands Hatch. Oh, so you're wedged between Brands and Silverstone, are you? I think really the closest notable track that I live next to is Coda. A couple of hours away from me. AMS Storm now heading into turn number 1. Hot off of a victory there in our first race of the evening, and 3 straight here now. 3 straight in Season 35. AP1 Raccoon, who unfortunately got a disconnect or a DNF there in the Lime Rock race, is the first off the line and the first into the tire wall there as he gets ready to hit the long back straightaway here on the international circuit of Silverstone. And a perfect time for a shout out for our friends at the Online Racing Association, who are hosting their 12 Hours of Sebring this coming Saturday. Don't miss it. I think you'll have to look up the Tora Twitter channel or the Tora Twitter account and verify, but I think you'll have Ryorg, who's done a phenomenal job providing coverage of several of the endurance events for the Online Racing Association throughout 2020. I think Ryorg will be covering the 12-hour of Sebring action, along with a few other drivers. For those of you who remember or recall, I was going to be doing the full 12 hours of the Lobby A action for the same reasons that I haven't been broadcasting on my normal times on Sundays and then been very sporadic on Fridays. I will not be doing that broadcast here this coming Saturday, unfortunately. I really wish I could, but I'm trying to get the health back up to snuff. So Tuesdays is all I can muster right now. Hopefully at some point be back in the thick of it here on Virtual Autosports, but I'll leave some of the other names, the other great, wonderful commentators in the Forza community to square away the 12 hours of Sebring, which start at 10 a.m. Eastern time? We see Mortismo here. AMS Storm with a 109.518. Pardon me, that's good enough for the top spot, at least right now. Oh, did I say Sebring? I'm sorry. Did I say Sebring? I covered the Sebring event earlier this year. I will not be doing the Silverstone. I did mean the Silverstone event this Saturday. It's a good thing I'm not broadcasting it, because I probably would have just said Sebring the entire race, and everybody would be like, this dude's kooky. He doesn't even know where he's at. Yeah, Sebring is not the track that they're going to be racing. That was earlier, back in, I think, March. It was Daytona. I think the first race was Daytona, the 24 Hours of Daytona back in February, followed by Sebring in March. And then they had, Le Mans and Bathurst. Now Silverstone and the Grand Prix circuit while we are at the International here for the Forza Spec Racing Series. Right now it is AMS Storm with a 109.518 top time. Cratrium showing as having the second quickest time. AMS Unicon in third. Audrex with the fourth. IPR Wolf with the fifth quickest time. Let's go ahead and put our camera here. Well, it's already on IPR Wolf. Sebring, Silverstone, what's 3,000 to 4,000? I don't know, 6,000 miles of difference between the two. What's the difference? You know, they're all the same. Sebring, Silverstone, they're very flat and level tracks. One's a Formula One circuit, one is not. Bathurst. Ooh, that pronunciation, I know. Bathurst. Bathurst. If I have that, I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know what kind of lingo that is. And it looks like we are finishing up here as the third lap, the second flying lap of qualifying has concluded. AMS Storm with a 109.518. Unku with a 110. 111 dirty there for Raccoon. Slipstream with a 110.7112. Grimm with a 114, 111 for Bourne. Muertismo at a 111. McQueen at a 112, 110 there for Wolf. Barney with a 112, 109, only our second. And actually, as I look a bit further down, I see a third and even a fourth, albeit that fourth one is dirty there by SVR Blackout. So Blackout will have a lot of work, a lot of cutting through the field to do, as he'll be placed at the back of the pack. Fox Jason D with a 114. So even that slowest clean lap there by Fox Jason D will have Fox out in front of Blackout on the grid, because the slowest clean lap is always going to be faster than the fastest dirty lap. AMS Unicon with a 109, 905, 111, 417 there for Chaos Fox. Blackout again with that 109 dirtied. Beer with a 114 dirty. Kuda with a 111. 110 for Audrex. Modern Weapon with a 114. 111 there for Jacob. 110s for Carry Out and Fear the Fun. And then a 112 dirty there by Slow Motion Fire, which you don't normally see. Slow Motion Fire is typically keeping within the track limits between the two white lines, but unable to do so here out at the international circuit. Yes, Sancho's is an Aussie, so he's going to be a bit nitpicky. I completely understand. I completely understand. I'm butchering the names. Feel free to call me out on it. And looking into the driver's spotlight, we've got Fox Jason D hanging out over there. Fox, what's going on? How was qualifying, and what are you looking for here in race number 2 of the night?
Honestly, it's usually just the same goal I have with most races, which is, not finishing last.
Not finishing last. You did a pretty good job at not doing that in our first race of the night, because you finished, I believe, in maybe 18th or 19th position behind Kuda and in front of Beer. Any changes to your strategy here on Silverstone? As some of our drivers telling us, yeah, the tires shouldn't be so much of an issue out here at Silverstone, but I suppose that could be dependent on your driving style. But then again, maybe you're just going to do like what IPR Wolf says, and hey, I'm just going to run it. I'm not even going to care about tire degradation.
Honestly, with my style I'm just going to try to keep with like the practice that I've been trying to do with that I have been doing, just like trying to keep the turns. I was able to get some good lines with in my practice. It also helped that in like other events that I've done recently, we're also at Silverstone, so I've gotten a lot of good practice in other events.
Yeah, Silverstone is like a fan favorite for the Forza community event host. It's another one of those that shows up on the schedule more oftentimes than not. Talking here in the driver's spotlight with Fox Jason D. Fox, I haven't talked to you here in season 35 yet, so what do you make of the Scirocco? Is it a vehicle that you're familiar with and you kind of already knew the nuances, or are you getting acclimated to it as we go?
I'm still kind of getting acclimated to it. Like, I have done a little bit of racing with this in the past, but that was more for like casual races and not in any league. So, and it's definitely a more powerful car than I'm used to. I've managed to figure out how to run it well, at least for me. But it helps that I have a lot of friends to help me with, and I'm actually running a really good tune by my good friend SGR Chaos Fox. Yep. So, and it like just that tune alone has been it feels really good, and it's just another thing of just like the way all the help he's given me in the past.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. If you were, again, borrowing there from your buddy SGR Chaos Fox, that is indeed the case. Is there any time where Chaos Fox kind of throws a curveball at you and just kind of goofs up the tune a little bit just to see if you'll notice?
I hope he wouldn't do something like that, but it's unfortunately, if he were to ever do that, which I don't think he would, it probably would be hard for me to notice just because I'm still very new to a lot of it, to how tuning works.
Yep. Well, Fox Jason D, best of luck here in our second race of the evening out there at Silverstone International.
Thank you.
All right, they're all readied up, and we'll throw Fox Jason D back into the event Discord channel, or the channel for the drivers who communicate. And again, if you are interested in the Forza Spec Racing Series, Discord is their communication channel of choice. All the details of not only what you need for communication, but then how to set up a vehicle and some of the other rules that are in place over there at reddit.com/r/FM4. Get ready for season 36. I know it's still very early to think about that, but as we progress here through the remaining 3.5 races or 3.5 weeks of racing, if this starts to feel like something that you want to be a part of, then make sure you get familiarized with the rules, because from season 35 to 36, the rules aren't going to change. It'll just be a different car with a different schedule of tracks. And then similarly, if spots open up here in season 35 through the remaining 3.5 weeks, well, 3 after tonight, then you could certainly get in on the fun. You won't be in the running for the championship, but really getting familiar with the format, understanding kind of the different styles of the different drivers out there on the circuit, and just kind of figuring out who you compete best with is a great way to get ready for an upcoming season. Don't just jump into a season cold. Give yourself a little bit of an acclimation period. I know we were just talking about that with Fox Jason D, who's getting used to the VW and getting used to the ins and outs of tuning within Forza Motorsport 7. So get in on the fun now, and then that way when they roll back the points for season 36, you'll be in the running for the championship. All right, it's AMS Storm and Cratrim out on row number 1, followed by Udakan and Audrex. Then Fear the Fun and Carry Out in row number 3. And look at that, another 10 bits coming in from Sancho. Skid the Accord, you coward, is saying it again there to Chaos Fox. Sancho saying, I got to head off, but it's been a blast. Hope you all have a great day. Same to you there, Sancho. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. And a wonderful week on into the weekend. Get some audio going here in game. And here we are loaded up on the hood of Cratrim's car. Because of the camera view here at the start-finish line, that's what we get to see first. It'll pan out pretty quickly here as AMS Storm kicks things off, and as such, kick the tires, light the fires. Race number 4 here of Season 35 in the Forza Spec Racing Series is underway, and just like that, Cratrim's going to send it sideways into turn number 1, and just like that, AMS Udakan jumps up into P2 on the heels of AMS Storm, who's gone back-to-back-to-back here in Season 35. Third is Cratrim. Fourth is Audrex. Fear the Fun is in 5th. Carry Out in 6th position. Let's go to Carry Out and hop on board here. Lap number 1 as we've got the sun setting here out at the track at Silverstone. 26 laps. 26 laps at the 2.25 mile international circuit as they go down the long back straightaway here on the international circuit, then into the right-hander, up to the chicane, and toward the start-finish line. Another track where they'll be carrying a lot of momentum. Really, this is the slowest portion of the track right here. And Audrex look to be off into the grass there in the entry point of the chicane. Cratrim closing in after falling off the pace there. He started on row number 1 and now finds himself back in 4th. Make that 5th. Fear the Fun now. Going to be looking to move up a spot. Let's go to Fear the Fun, and just like that, gets around crate trim. As we see it there on the bumper camera. And so now Fear the Fun matching his position with that of his overall points position on the leaderboard entering week number 2. Back up the second with Udakan. Storm in first as they charge down the straightaway. Lights beaming under a partly cloudy sky here in the twilight hours. A little bit of tire smoke as Storm locks him up, and then some smoke as he accelerates, and that puts him out wide there through the, well, he brings it back in toward the apex on that final right-hander, effectively blocking Udakan, and now into turn 1 they go here for lap number 3. Audrex is up to 3rd. Fear the Fun in 4th. Cratrum in 5th. Carry Out in 6th. IPR Wolf in 7th. CMB Slipstream in 8th. Blackout in 9th. RZM McQueen into 10th. Then it's Unku, Chaos Fox, Mortismo, Kuda, Jacob, Born as Ghost, PXM Barney, AP1 Raccoon, then Slow Motion Fire, Fox Jason D, Beer, Grim, 19th through 22nd. And so it appears that somebody did not load up in this race, because I'm pretty sure we had a full lobby at the onset. Udakan now grabs P1. And let's hop on board here, because we're not getting the greatest of camera angles here at the Silverstone circuit. So let's ride on board now with Storm. In and out of turn number 1. We did see Slow have the precipitation out here on the track. They're maybe forgetting that the rain should be saved for Suzuka, which will be race number 6 a week from tonight. Instead, we're only under, I was going to say nighttime conditions, but really it's still kind of, again, those twilight hours. So good amount of sunlight on the horizon here at Silverstone. And Masuda now with a good 3 to 4 car length separation here in the top spot, maybe trying to put an end here to Storm's 3, trying to go for 4 straight wins with that Umbrella Corporation livery. The theme for season 35, TV or movie companies, fictional companies that come from the TV or cinema world. Fear the Fun now up to 3rd. Let's go to Audrex in 4th. Fear the Fun, a man on a mission after finishing in 8th out at Lime Rock. And Fear, man, he really starts it out wide there for the entry of turn number 3, and then drops it back in. I guess it is kind of a droop. And we got 3 cars there from 6th, 7th, and 8th. That being Blackout, Carryout, and McQueen. The 357 horsepower Volkswagen Scirocco. 331 foot-pounds of torque, all on those front tires. They have not altered the drivetrain configuration. 2,493 pounds of curb weight, 57% of the weight resides on the front axle. A700 is what it is here in Forza Motorsport 7. A-Class 700 being the performance index score, which is an output of Forza's calculation of the performance of these vehicles, taking into account acceleration, handling, braking, top speed, and probably a few other parameters. AMS Unicon now really making it happen here. Race number 4, week 2, season 35. Starting to see AMS Storm well back behind him in his rearview mirror. Now just a couple of headlamps in the background. Fear the Fun in 3rd. Audrex in 4th. Craytrim in 5th. McQueen in 6th. Blackout in 7th. Carryout in 8th. Wolf and Slipstream are 9 and 10. Then it's Chaos Fox who finished out in 11th out at Lime Rock. Currently in 11th position in this race. Let's drop back to 13th with Mortismo. Born as Ghost. Born having a nice little run here in race number 4 of the season. Unku, you see there in 12th with Chaos Fox in 11th. Up to 16% tire wear there for Mortismo's Scirocco, and yeah, the driver's telling us, and some of our spectators too, saying the wheels shouldn't be as bad here at Silverstone. You don't have the change in elevation, which can often bring the weight up off those front wheels. And when you do that, then you start to lose grip and they spin a bit more, tearing up some of the rubber. And without that here at Silverstone, able to preserve the tires a bit more. We'll go to AMS Storm, albeit briefly, because you see the tail lamps of Unicon out there coming out of turn 3 with a good 1 to 1.5 second difference here on Storm. Then it's even further back to 3rd with Fear the Fun. Audrex in 4th. Let's go to McQueen in 5th. And look at this. We've got a 5-way battle for 5th position. Let's go look at this from the vantage point of Carryout, who is in 8th. Carryout late on the braking, had to take the runaway truck ramp to avoid a collision there with Craytrim. And now a little bit off the pace, but with these 4 out in front battling for position, it should allow Carryout to sneak back up there. It does appear that RZM McQueen in 4th is beginning to sail off from Blackout. Audrex, Craytrim, Blackout now up to 5th, putting Audrex back 1 spot. And sure enough, here comes Carryout right onto the back end of Craytrim here underneath the Silverstone Bridge. Blackout finishing 4th at Lime Rock. First appearance here in Season 35, donning the orange number board. First run here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Closing in on McQueen and even Fear the Fun. Fear the Fun has a tendency to get a little overzealous, pushes the car a bit too hard, and as a result can kind of have that accordion effect where he'll zoom off out and away from you. Then one little mistake brings them back into the mix. And at this point, I think if you are Fear the Fun, you're just looking to finish out in that podium position at third with Udakan and Storm clearly running an entirely different race right now. They're out there. No surprise, the Alien Motorsport team, one of the professional teams of the Forza community, and by that I mean they are organized as an association or as a club that allows them to participate in some of the pro-level events that take place, to include the Forza Racing Championship, which we'll see what that looks like as we recognize that the next Forza Motorsport title, we can now officially call it just Forza Motorsport. I was just alluding to it as the next motorsport experience, but the next Forza Motorsport title seemingly out of ways as the Turn 10 Studios team early in development here in 2020. Blackout there in 5th. Back behind him is Audrex in 6th. We saw that pass about 3 or 4 laps ago. Kracham in 7th. DOR Carryout in 8th. Nice little battle there with Wolf and Slipstream for 9th. Chaos Fox in 11th. Unku in 12th. Born as Ghost in 13th. Martismos 14th. Jacob in 15th. Then it's Slow Motion Fire, PXM Barney, Kuda, AP1 Raccoon, and Fox Jason D. AP1 Raccoon posting there in the Twitch chat. Our pit lane got a little excited about being in front for qualifying. So much so that parked the front of the Scirocco right into the tire wall. In the upcoming section is our top 5 drive through it, through the area where Raccoon had a little mistake there during qualifying. Let's go to Cratrium in 7th. I thank you all for hanging out with us here on a Tuesday evening. And a big thanks to all those who have subscribed, resubscribed, and the Twitch bits donations that have come in. If you are watching Virtual Autosports for the first time and you're enjoying the content, please click that follow button. It makes it easier for you to find the channel. Although I can say with certainty, you'll find us here on Twitch Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, for the Forza Spec Racing Series, all the way through Season 35. The only exception being week number 4, where I will be spending some time with the family, as opposed to be broadcasting as we celebrate a birthday in the Dustin Moore household. Fear the Fun now back to 4th after falling to McQueen here. McQueen finishing in 3rd out at Lime Rock, trying to go back-to-back with 3rd place finishes here in week 2. McQueen, in addition to Blackout, running for the first time here in Season 35. Lap 14 of 26. That 27th lap there in the upper left is just a cool-down lap. Let's go to Blackout, or just one spot back here from Fear the Fun. We were focused there on Fear the Fun's car, but let's go to Blackout and right on board. Kind of see what's happening there in that fight for 3rd. And tire situation's looking like this, at least for Blackout, as Fear the Fun is going to go ahead and slide all 4 tires. That won't help. Not only in position, but with that tire situation, as we see Blackout now closing in. And Fear the Fun with a little bit of a miss there on turn number 1, taking it too far into the inside. Fear the Fun sporting a Virtual Autosport sticker on the hatch of the Scirocco. I appreciate that. Love the little shout outs that the drivers give to the channel here. Tuna, no crust. On the opposite side of the lift gate. So where Fear the Fun was challenging McQueen for 3rd, now Fear the Fun at risk of losing 4th. With Blackout hot on the heels into turn number 1, lap 16. And Fear the Fun, who has taken that far outside line, lining it up for turn 3, and they're going to go ahead and bash into each other here. Through the right-hander on the back straightaway, and that's going to give McQueen's up there in 3rd. That's going to give Blackout a little bit of an advantage, but as soon as I say that, they are side by side down that back straightaway. Blackout to the inside line, which is going to give him the advantage here through the right-hander. We'll see if Fear the Fun tries to do a little bit of a switchback move as they come up to the chicane now. Got to be careful. Don't push the envelope too hard that you take each other out. And fall back more spots than you would have gained by making a pass on the other driver. Fear the Fun in 5th. Audrex in 6th. Craytrim in 7th. Let's go to Craytrim. He and Audrex here in the battle for 6th position. Back into turn number 3. The brake discs glowing there on the front of Audrex's car, and at least for now, Audrex will be up to 6th. They've got a back marker there. It's going to be Carryout. Carryout is not a back marker. Carryout now falling back 1 spot there to Audrex. My apologies for Carryout. Craytrim, 56, 54 up front in the teens on the back tires. And Carryout drops 2 spots back as Audrex moves up. Then Craytrim. Nice ongoing battle here for 6th and even 5th if they can catch up with Fear the Fun, who too has fallen back 2 spots to McQueen and Blackout. Let's go to Fear the Fun. Fear the Fun, one of the few drivers here in the top 10 without a team association. A privateer, if you will, here in the community. Challenging Solar Vision Racing's Blackout as they come out of the chicane into that final right-hander toward the start-finish line to start lap 19. And I don't mean to impose the commentator curse, but I did mention that Fear the Fun. We do see it, a tendency of him getting out there, and whether it's because he's trying to push the car too hard or just maybe gets caught up into his own overthinking, has a tendency to fall back and then makes those last lap heroics happen to gain another spot or two. That's where he finds himself right now. He was running in third for several laps before finding himself now in fifth. Down the back straightaway here on the international circuit. 2.25 mile track. 26 laps, and after this race, they'll only have one more for the first half of season 35. It'll be a week from tonight, and then they'll start the second half of the season. Fear the Fun right there on the back bumper of Blackout, letting them know that he's still there. And into that final right-hander once again. Fear the Fun, he's off into the apron. The outer apron, I guess the runoff area. Almost in a choreographed dance here with Blackout. Walk it off, it looks like the front of Fear the Fun's car says. Walk. W-O-K. Our race leader out for a cruise here in the virtual evening time of Silverstone is AMS Udakan, followed by Storm in second. So unless Storm can change something or AMS Udakan has a mistake, this will be the first win for Udakan, the first non-win for Storm. McQueen in third, Blackout in fourth, who right now, as we see, is trying to hold off Fear the Fun. Audrex in sixth. He's got a nice little battle with Craytrim and Carryout. Then Slipstream in 9th, IPR Wolf in 10th, Chaos Fox in 11th, Born as Ghost in 12th, Unku in 13th, Jacob in 14th, Mortismo in 15th, then Kuda, Slow, Barney, Raccoon, Fox Jason D, Beer, and Grim, 16th through 22nd. Storm's got to be careful. He's got RZM McQueen now within about, I don't know, 3 to 4 seconds behind him. And at the same time, McQueen's got to be careful because Blackout and Fear the Fun, although they're battling each other right now, which typically slows the drivers down when they're having this close of a contest. If McQueen were to have a mistake, then he's in jeopardy of losing 2 spots. So plenty of excitement here in the remaining 6 laps of this race. Race number 4 of season 35. Kind of glad we got this skybox as opposed to pitch black. Some nice lighting. You see the low clouds there in the distance, glowing a nice little hues of purple and orange. In the never-ending twilight that is this skybox here at Silverstone. And yeah, look at that. Blackout. Fear the Fun. Audrex, they close in on some back markers. And just on the opposite side of this chicane is McQueen. So we'll see if Fear the Fun and Blackout can't work together to maybe catch up and maybe try to tag team here and take over third position. Fox Jason D, one of the back markers, allowing our top 5 to get by unscathed. Let's go quickly back to Carryout, who finds himself now all the way back in 8th position, make that 7th after making a move, at least for right now, on Craytrim. These two have been going back and forth. Audrex being the benefactor. Everything you need to know about the Forza Spec Racing Series and how to participate in forthcoming races over at reddit.com/r/FM4. If you have even been the slightest bit interested in getting into organized racing in the world of Forza, maybe you're relatively new to the franchise and you're kind of getting your feet wet and you want to take the next step out of single-player mode and into organized online races, well, no better league to take a look at than the Forza Spec Racing Series. If you've got time on a Tuesday evening, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, this is a great one to choose. A beer league, as Slow Motion Fire kind of always refers to it as, and in addition to that, one of the longest-running Forza community leagues that you will find, as they have their roots dating back to the Forza Motorsport 4 days. 35 seasons, this being the 35th. And so Slow knows what he's doing. He knows what he's putting together, and they know how to make sure that things stay clean out there on the track, as they have been for the 10 to 11 seasons that I've covered. And it's been a blast. I can think of no better way to spend my Tuesday evening, maybe apart from time with my family, but one day out of the week, commentating a race here in the virtual world. Yeah, I think it's fair. Audrex starting to peel away. He says, hey, if you guys want to keep battling it out there, that being crate trim and carry out, go for it. Fear the Fun now has fallen off pace there to Blackout, so maybe another instance where Fear just trying to push it a little bit too hard, and now the best he can hope for is a top 5 finish here as our lead drivers cross the line. White flag flies. AMS Unicon in first, Storm in second, McQueen, Blackout, Fear the Fun, Audrex, Crate Trim, Carry Out, Slipstream, Born as Ghost. Those are your top 10. Let's go to Carry Out in 8th. Back to Carry Out, I should say. That's where we were just a moment ago. See if he can grab himself P7 here. Last half of the 26th and final lap. Out at Silverstone International. 1 week from tonight, we'll find ourselves out at Long Beach West. Correction, Long Beach East, 33 laps. Suzuka West. In the rain, 21 laps. And here we go. Crate Trim, 7th. Here comes Carry Out from the Delta Online Racing Team. Going to go to the inside here of Crate Trim. I think he's got it. As they come up across the line. Carry Out, Crate Trim, Carry Out. It's going to pick up 7th position. Crate Trim in 8th. Nicely done. Slip going to come across the line in 9th. Let's go to IPR Wolf in 11th behind Born as Ghost. Born as Ghost is going to be good for 10th. Carry Out, or excuse me, Wolf in 11th. Unku in 12th. Chaos Fox in 13th. Martismo in 14th. If he can hold off Jacob, and I think he can. Yep, Jacob 15th. 16th will go to Slow Motion Fire. Kuda, PXM Barney, AP1 Raccoon, Fox Jason D, Beer, and then Grem, the 22 drivers who started this race, finishing out here. Race number 4 of season 35. Well, AMS Storm, the streak has ended at 3 races. Still going to be good on the points leaderboard, but now teammate Udakan is going to challenge him here for the championship. Udakan making it clear that he is trying to go back to back to back. I do believe the first time that has happened in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Folks, we're going to go ahead and take ourselves a little bit of a break. I'm going to take note of where everybody finished. We'll invite our drivers into the driver's spotlight, have a word with them before we wrap things up here in week number 2. I'm Dustin Moore. You're watching Twitch TV's Virtual Autosports. We'll be right back after these commercial ads. And once again, for those of you not seeing any ads, thanks for hanging out here with Virtual Autosports on a Tuesday evening. Hopefully made it a little bit more exciting for you with the Forza Spec Racing Series Season 35, week number 2. We'll be live again a week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, with races 5 and 6 out at Long Beach and Suzuka. Sure to be a good one, and especially when you consider once Slow Motion Fire tallies up all the points between week 1 and 2, drivers will have their worst week dropped in terms of championship points, and we'll start to see what that picture looks like of who's going to be in the running for the championship here in the remaining 3 weeks of racing. Week 3, again, a week from tonight, followed by week 4 on August 11th, week 5, the finale out at Dubai on August 18th. And welcome back, folks, to Virtual Autosports as we close up week number 2 here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. AMS Udakan breaking the streak for teammate AMS Storm, picking up the win out here at Silverstone International in the dark. Storm did manage to finish in 2nd position, followed by RZM McQueen SVR Blackout in 4th position. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring in SVR Blackout into the driver's spotlight, picking up 2 P4 finishes here in week number 2. Your first appearance in season 35. I think you're making your debut known here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. How do you feel about these 2 races, Lime Rock and Silverstone?
I enjoyed Lime Rock, actually. It became a challenge towards the end of the race because we was all starting to lose our tyres. McQueen and Hurricane had about 96% upon like the last lap. It was ridiculous. And for the second race, I wish that I got my lap clean in qualifying. Unfortunately, I couldn't. But I think I had a pretty good race to fight back up the field. Had a really good battle with Fear for position 4. Yeah, it was a fantastic experience, and I definitely enjoyed my first race, or first 2 races. And I definitely hope I can do more in the future.
Awesome. Yeah, we like to hear that. We like to hear folks who are no stranger to the Forza community, but are saying, "Yeah, let me have a run here at the Forza Spec Racing Series." What's it going to take for you in week number 3? And I know I ask this question a lot of times from the drivers. They just say, "Hey, I got to race better." That's all there is to it. But what is it going to take down the 2 AMS guys here? Not only in week 3, but 4 and 5.
I would say consistency and practice. I definitely got to put in more practice. But by the seems of it, we definitely got the pace. It's just we need to get it consistent, and I believe that'll be the key to potentially taking 1, 2, or maybe even like getting AMS, Hurricane, and Storming to like 3 and 4. Like, just got to nail those laps down, I think.
Nail the lap.
So
nail the laps down and then be consistent. It sounds like the key.
Yeah.
Racing in a nutshell.
A lot of practice, though, definitely. Yeah.
Very good. Talking with SVR Blackout here in the driver's spotlight at the conclusion of week number 2. I know I ask this of a lot of our drivers, but what do you make of the Scirocco, and are you familiar with the car, or is this kind of your introduction? As long as it's been in the franchise, is this kind of your entry for the vehicle, or at least your first experience?
It is definitely the first experience I've had for a Scirocco. I'm no stranger to front-wheel drive cars. I've been doing front-wheel drive cars for God knows how long. But I suppose it's just the way the car handles is very different to how most other front-wheel drive cars handle. And there's a lot you've got to do to make sure that the car like turns in and doesn't spin. Because sometimes it will catch understeer and oversteer at the same time. So it is quite tricky to nail. But once you do get it nailed down, it is a brilliant car to drive. Absolutely fantastic. I'm loving it.
Very good. And we'll see how that factors into things out at Long Beach East, there for race number 5 a week from tonight. And then we'll really put the challenge to the drivers here with a little bit of precipitation out at Suzuka. Which of those 2 tracks are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, Suzuka. Love me some Suzuka.
Even with the precipitation?
Yeah, 100%. I love Suzuka. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it too. I mean, it's just great flow to that track, even though it'll be the West Circuit, so a little bit shorter. Still, really, really fast. I love coming out of Spoon and then lining things up and then trying to hit that kink, that left-hander there after the start-finish line on point. But we'll see how it goes there. What are your initial thoughts, not only with the car, you've told us that much, but with all the drivers, you have obviously had to deal with some of the back markers here, but that's kind of one of the, I guess, the things that the Forza Spec Racing Series prides itself on is that you've got a whole eclectic assortment of drivers and skill level out there on the track. Had you had any issues with the drivers here tonight?
I wouldn't say I had any issues. I've had a few bumps and scrapes with some drivers, but that is sport. That is motorsport. You do have contact. Whether it's intentional or not is another story, but most of the case I think it's unintentional and it can cause a bit of stress, but I'm not really too bothered about it. As long as we all have that respect for each other when we're on track, then I think that is the way to, keep your composure, because when it comes to racing with like different skill drivers, you sort of like it's like a feeling of like, am I going to like cause an incident? Is he going to like swerve in my way? Whatever. But yeah, I think no one's caused any issues. It's all been fairly good tonight.
Very good. Well, hey, Blackout, great chatting with you here at the conclusion of week number 2. Any shout-outs that you want to throw out there, maybe to your fellow SVR drivers?
I want to shout out Unku, McQueen, Hurricane, Storm, and I'd like to shout out Fear, because Fear and I had a really good race, as I like to say. But yeah, shout out to pretty much everyone.
Yeah, it's too bad that little battle between you and Fear dissipated there toward the end of the race, but I suspect that'll carry on here in the coming events, so no worries there.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome, Blackout. Well, have a great rest of the week, and we look forward to seeing you out there a week from tonight.
Thank you, and as to you, have a wonderful night. Take
Absolutely.
care.
Thank you so much. And now we'll bring back into the driver's spotlight a frequent visitor here of the broadcast booth, DOR Carryout. Let's see, Carryout, as I look here, you finished in 7th behind Audrex here at Silverstone. You guys from 5th on back to 7th, even 8th. Nice little battle all throughout the race.
Yes, me, CT, or Cratrium, and Audrex. Just changing spots a couple of times. It's fun. Had a really good race with Cratrium the whole race.
Yeah, Cratrium, he started out on row number 1, I believe, sharing space there with AMS Uticon before, or maybe even Storm, before falling back to the 8th, 9th, and 10th position, and then he was able to finish there in 8th in front of Slip and in front of Bourne. Anything in particular about that race that caught you off guard, or is that right where you expected yourself to be here at Silverstone?
No, I changed the setup on it. I tried a different setup for the race with no practice on it. It was a little bit more slidey than I was used to because I put in a lot of practice on my previous tune, which messed me up a little bit. But about halfway through the race, I got used to it and was able to keep a decent pace.
And talking about changing up the setup, I don't know. I would guess that going out to Long Beach East, quite possibly the slowest track on the circuit here for season 35, maybe making some changes there.
I will be going back to previous setup, the one that I used at Lime Rock. It'll be about the same kind of track.
The precipitation there at Suzuka for race number 6, does that worry you any?
A little bit. Those cars in the rain are not that much fun, but they're not bad. But they could be better.
Okay, well, we're going to see after Silverstone, which we just finished up, but after Slow Motion Fire calculates all the points, what that does to our drivers on the overall leaderboard here. Obviously, taking into account one of the first 2 weeks being a drop week for championship points. But you're in the thick of it there, carry out for one of those top 5 spots, and Fear the Fun. Hopefully seeing that battle come into play a little bit more here as we go into week 3. We just talked with Blackout. Do you see yourself competing with Blackout often as well? You could be able to move up a few more spots and have a run at him?
Yeah, I'm going to try to. We had a good little race at there the first couple of laps when him and McQueen started a little bit behind us. And I got to race with them a little bit. It was fun until they decided to dip out and just leave us. And it was pretty fun.
Awesome. Well, Carry Out, as always, great chatting with you. Congratulations on your 2, what I would call successful finishes here in week number 2. And we'll see you for week 3.
Yes. Thanks, sir. Have a good night.
All right, and a little bit of a surprise visit. We don't usually see Slow Motion Fire joining us here in the broadcast booth so early on in the season, but Slow, you guys have really flipped things on its head here in season 35 because not really are we accustomed to seeing tire degradation being a factor in these races, but it has added an interesting dynamic here with the Scirocco.
Yeah, it had been a long time, so I figured I was past due jumping in here, Dustin. Yeah, tire wear was something we were looking at when we put this build together. After the trucks, where it wasn't a concern at all, we thought it'd be fun to go to this, where right at that 30-minute mark, you got to decide if you're going to save them or burn them off.
So you have that. You have the dynamic of the tire degradation, and then you throw a couple of names into the mix, McQueen and Blackout, making their appearance here in week number 2 of season 35. The competition just keeps pouring in. Like, even as some people kind of withdraw themselves and say, hey, I had a good run, I'm going to step aside now and let some other folks hop in. You guys are no shortage of talent out here on the track.
Oh, it's crazy. The sign up this season was through the roof, and unfortunately we had to turn a couple drivers away each week because of that full grid. So we've got the reserve list in full play this season.
That you do. All right, let's turn our attention now to your performance out here, and maybe you wish we didn't, but a little bit on the, I guess maybe on the less exciting end here in week number 2 with Lime Rock and Silverstone. Finishing looks like maybe 16th there out at Lime Rock, and 16th here out at Silverstone. A couple of P16s.
Yeah, I was having some good battles there for 16th, especially there at Silverstone with Cuda the last couple laps. It was just bumper to bumper.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we expect. We see a lot of that action mid-pack, even toward the back end, mid-teens to high teens, and you guys do a phenomenal job. We just can't keep the camera back there for any length of time. That being said, I mean, what would you say has probably been the most surprising thing out of the drivers that you've had out there, or who's maybe improved the most in the time that you've seen them take part in FM4?
Oh man, that's such a trick question there, Dustin. I mean, everybody that runs with us for a while greatly improves. It's just you see people come in here that have never played the game before, and then all of a sudden they're running mid-pack after a couple seasons. It's just you put in the practice and chase the quick drivers like we've got in here, do the rivals and chase everybody. Your times just fall off.
Well, if that was a trick question, let me throw another one at you. Have you seen your own personal performance kind of scale with everybody else, or are you finding yourself in a position where, man, like you host these events, no matter how many of them that you participate in, the skill of the others just keeps continuing to exceed maybe your expectations or even our expectations, and maybe your performance isn't scaling, or is it in week 2 was just a bad showing here?
It's partially this car. The way it drives just does not agree with me. I did far better with the truck, but it's just kind of my downfall this season is learning how to drive front-wheel drive.
Okay, so we take these front-wheel drive VW Scirocco's out to Long Beach East, and then Suzuka with the rain. I think the rain there's not, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know that there's a 100% chance there in race 6, or is there a 100% chance for precipitation?
Yes, at least at one point in the race it will be raining. It's not very hard rain though. I think moderate rain, maybe at the heaviest, is predicted.
So a little bit of fun out there on the track. We'll see if I don't know, when the wets go on, if that helps the drivers out any, or if it's just going to be just as precarious as it is toward the latter stages of these other events here on these racing tires, the front tires that go out so dang quickly. Last question there for you, Slow. I mean, what did you think here of the Scirocco when AMS Unicon said, hey, picked up the win there in season 34, let's go with the V-dub? Did you work with him in terms of setting up the vehicle, or really do you kind of just take it upon yourself to put the car where you think it should be?
It's a little of both. I mean, we work with the moderation team and do testing to try and find something that's going to race well in a pack. Like I said, with the tires this season, we did some testing to try and get those to burn off right at that half-hour mark after we saw it was a potential. And then we take inputs from the drivers. So Huracan wanted all the body kit on it and some other things he specified. He wanted the engine left, the stock engine, and so it's a mixture of both.
At this point, knowing how things are with the tires, is there a possibility, and even fuel? I think when we were looking at those first couple of races there in week 1, the fuel was depleting quite quickly as well. Could we be looking at a 2-stop event out there at Dubai in race number 9?
It's going to be real close. It's going to come down to if drivers can save tires, or if they're going to just push it to the limit. Like we saw the first race this week where Storm saved tires. He picked up 2 spots in the last lap because he had tires left at the end. So
yeah, nice little miraculous finish. I shouldn't say miraculous because we all know what Storm is capable of, but picking up the win there on that first race of the evening on the final half lap. So pretty amazing stuff. And of course, it'll only continue here in season 35. Slow Motion Fire, I know you shouted out the moderation team. We know Modern Weapon helps out quite a bit. Fear the Fun helping with the vehicle setups. Any other shout outs you want to throw out there this evening before we close things here in week 2?
Oh, we got Cratrium and Foon and Slipstream in on that moderation team as well. So they're putting in the hours helping us run things.
Very good, and I chuckle as AMS Storm says, "I'll take miraculous." To be honest, the Kappa. Yeah, well, you did quite well, and of course, picking up 3 wins in a row is no easy feat, considering the competition on the track. Slow Motion Fire, we'll see you there in week number 3.
Oh, we'll see you there too, Destin. Thanks for hosting.
Betcha. And I said wrapping things up, but we do have Fear the Fun, who's also jumped into the driver's spotlight. Fear the Fun, I mean this in the most endearing way possible, but man, you had one of those races where you were able to get up there into P3. You looked really solid, but then maybe trying to close that gap with Storm just a little bit too much, and you fall back to P5, back behind McQueen and Blackout. Or was that just because they were just that darn good?
Do you think I'm McQueen level like
Yeah, man. I think, like I said, I told everybody about halfway through that race when you were up there in the top 3 that you sell yourself short, man.
I don't think I saw I think I know where I stand. And I got a good tune under me this season. A tune from one of the fast guys, and it's made me faster. But I still don't think I have the pure skill as people like McQueen, Huracan, Storm, Blackout. Anybody who got a moniker in front of their name, they're probably going to be faster than me, and that's okay.
Well, and I mentioned that too during the race. I forgot to call out Audrex, but I mean, between you and Audrex, really in the top 10, you guys are the only one who don't have a club tag in front of your name. Tell me, I mean, does that make you? Do you feel good about the fact that you're in the mix and there's just only so many what you would, I guess, call privateers, you and Audrex up there, or does that make you kind of feel minuscule compared to those guys?
It doesn't make me feel minuscule as much as like it just kind of like they have that acronym in front of their name, and that's usually related to having a good base behind them, whether it be tuning or paint jobs or what like that. I try to do my best, and I always thought like my team was good, and then I got a whiff of one of their tunes, and it makes me feel like I've been a terrible tune.
Oh, man. I only wish I could have the misfortune that you have, Fear, where you do so well and yet at the same time feel like you've done so poorly, or maybe not so poorly. I don't think you're going to that extreme.
I don't feel like I did poorly. I feel like I did right where I should be.
Gotcha.
And I was racing with McQueen the weekend. Not like we weren't like battling or anything, but I couldn't catch up to him. And I was like, oh, well, I'm 7 seconds behind you, 6 seconds. And then one race, I got 2 seconds. And I was.
Well, it kind of does surprise me that you don't yet have a tag in front of your name. Maybe you're not shopping around or looking to be a part of any team. But, man, you do one heck of a job out there. And despite finishing 5th out here at Silverstone, which is awesome, it's a fantastic finish, I think you do have it in you there for the top 4, maybe even top 3, despite what you say. What do you think about Long Beach East and then Suzuka with a little bit of precipitation? Which race are you looking forward to? Which one are you not so excited about?
I love Long Beach. I'm going to say I hate Suzuka. And I've always hated Suzuka. I just don't like the way it flows. And I'm always been kind of fast at Long Beach as long as I don't hit a wall, which, knowing me, I'll probably hit a wall. But ebbs and flows, I'll take what I can get.
Yep. Very cool. Well, Fear the Fun, great to see you in full force here in Season 35, and we look forward to seeing you in Season 33. I'm rooting for you, man.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. And, I mean, I try to be as unbiased as possible, but, hey, this is an independent for fun league, so I can have my heroes, the people that I'm cheering on here from at least inside my mind, and I won't maybe voice that so much. But, yeah, Fear the Fun has done a phenomenal job through each of the seasons that I've broadcasted. I suspect it's even been that much better prior to when Virtual Autosports were covering these events. So keep a lookout for Fear the Fun's name. And, of course, here with these first 2 weeks now under the belt and in the books, we'll account for one of those first 2 weeks being a drop week for the championship points. So we'll take a look at, heading into week number 3, what the standings appear like. And then you can also stay up to date with the standings over at reddit.com/r/FM4. That's where the scorebook is kept there for Slow Motion Fire and the FM4 crew. And then, of course, make sure you're following me on Twitter, because from time to time I'll go ahead and throw those results out there a little bit early just as a teaser as far as what to expect heading into the next week. And yes, week number 3, a week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Virtual Autosports. Race number 5 will be the conclusion of the first half of Season 35. Then we'll jump into the second half with that race in the wet out at Suzuka. And then week number 4, unfortunately, being the one that I won't be able to broadcast, as I spend some time with the family for a little bit of a celebration before we return in week number 5 with race 9 out at Dubai for the conclusion of Season 35. And yes, it's going to be exciting. It will be exciting with AMS Unicon now showing it. Hey, yeah, I can wrangle this Scirocco and pick up a win. AMS Storm, though, still 3 wins out the gate. Who knows? As we continue on, once we start to understand which week is more likely to be a drop week for any one of these drivers, what that does to the championship points picture, it's going to be interesting, and it's going to start to flesh itself out as we head into week 4 more so, and then, of course, for the finale there in week 5 on August 18th. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me here on a Tuesday evening. For all the folks who subscribed, and Sancho for all the Twitch bits that were donated here today, much appreciated. Again, all that goes directly back into the stream, its production, and some of the giveaways that able to do from time to time. And for everybody else, if you are not yet following the channel, please click that follow button. And I look forward to seeing you here a week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern for week number 3. Again, Long Beach East, Suzuka West. It's going to be another great one. Will the AMS boys of Unicon and Storm dominate as they've done here through the first 4 races, or will we start to see the likes of McQueen and Black out there, or even Fear? I think he can do it. I think he can grab himself a top 3 once, if not twice, or 3 times. Not to put the pressure there on you, Fear, but I think you got it in you. Follow me on Twitter at VRTL Autosports. That way you can keep up to date with all the Forza Spec Racing Series news, and then, of course, anything else that may come up. I do get a stream here or two there, and from time to time I am trying to recover here in terms of my health, so please be understanding if I'm not able to broadcast as much as maybe you're familiar or used to, and we'll get back to it. I promise you. We'll get back there. So just got to take a little bit of a break, build that health back up, and I encourage you all to do the same. Stay happy, stay healthy in this oddball time that we are in, that is 2020, and look forward to seeing you here next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern for Forza Spec Racing Series season number 3 week number 3 of season 35. If you get any more racing action in the virtual world, keep it fun, keep it safe, keep it clean. Have a great rest of the week. We'll see you on Tuesday on Virtual Autosports. Actually, I'm Dustin Milas, Virtual Autosports, and I'm out.